And for somebody who's wanting to help lower their blood pressure, lowering the salt really can help. Now, how does it do that? I think, as we often hear, cut down on your salt because it'll help with lower your blood pressure. But why? Why does it do that? Now, it really comes down to the kidney. Our kidneys do amazing things. There's these two organs about the size of our fists, kind of in the lower back side of our bodies. I think one of the main things that happens in our kidneys is filtering our blood and also the control of blood pressure. In the most basic unit of the kidney is called the nephron, and the nephron is a very, very, very small structure, but in it starts by filtering their blood in this colander, like a spaghetti colander type thing. It lets a lot of things through and keeps some things in the blood. So all this liquid and some other things go into this tubule of the nephron. And then after it goes through, our body's like, wait, we need to keep some of that. We need to keep some water. We need to keep some sodium. We need to keep sugars and amino acids and other ions. We can't, so we don't pee them all out, because ultimately this feeds into our bladder and then it goes out as urine. And one of the ways that our body controls that is through these opening and closing of these doors that regulate sodium. So if you're able to look at this image, you'll see that where all of these places where sodium leaves the nephron and goes back into the blood. This is a simplified diagram, but it allows us to see it fairly well. Where sodium will go, water will go also. So if we eat a diet that's high in salt, the idea is that our body will want to retain it and extract it from the nephron back into our blood. If the sodium goes, water will go too, because of the osmotic forces that are at play. And if the water is retained, then we have more volume in a defined amount of space. And if you can think back to your physics classes, the volume and pressure, if we have a high volume but a lot of fluid in a confined volume, it's going to exert more and more pressure. That's where we get blood pressure from. Our body regulates that because we do need a certain level of blood pressure, but we just don't want it to go through the roof, because that would be a problem. So nephron helps control our blood pressure, and this is honestly where one of the main mechanisms of action for blood pressure drugs go. We often talk about diuretics, thiazide diuretics, loop diuretics. You may have heard these tossed around by a doctor or on the news with medication ads or things like that. These diuretics help control the flow of that sodium out of our nephron. There's also suggested that it's the potassium that also makes a big effort as well in controlling that blood pressure also. Okay, enough anatomy, physiology, but really I just wanted to illustrate and teach you about why controlling salt leads to controlling blood pressure.